Hello everybody and welcome back to Throttle Grotto. This week we're going to work on the wheels. I finally got my shipment of wheel bolts in and now we can put these things together. Alright everybody, I got home last night and I was so excited to see my box of wheel bolts finally arrive. I decided to wait till this morning to actually come out and put everything together. I got home last night and I just didn't feel like working out in the shop. So today I'm going to put the wheels together. There's not really much more to say about it other than I'm going to put wheels together. I've got all my bags of nuts here. Basically they're just regular M8 by 1.25 serrated flange nuts. I don't know if you'll be able to see that there, but you know, I got these off of Amazon. They're basically the same thing that was on the wheels when I got them. And then I have these bad boys. Look at these. So they're individually wrapped like candies, but this is going to be fun. I think these are going to look really good when they're done. So enough of me talking about it. Let's get to it. Well, it sure doesn't seem like it would be an episode of Throttle Grotto without something going wrong. Now, it's a minor thing, but it's going to take me a little while to correct it. So, the bolts that I had that came with the wheels are these right here. And they have a very short shoulder on them. And this shoulder, let me get an accurate measurement here. This shoulder measures 7.1 in diameter. Now these are an M8 by 1.25 and these fit really tight going in and out of the wheel. These are also an M8 by 1.25 but the shoulder on these is 7.9, so it's almost a full 8mm shoulder on these. So what I have to do is I have to enlarge the wheels. Let's see. So I made a little test piece here. I grabbed this little piece of aluminum and I drilled a hole for the this is basically what I'm dealing with. So this is the hole that used to be there, or in the wheel, and that's about how the bolts are going in. So I just have to drill a little bigger. I have to open up that just a little bit. I have a drill bit here that'll do it. I just have to open up every single one of these holes in the lip to so that's about 120 holes I have to drill in order for these bolts to fit. So fortunately I just have to make it bigger. I don't have to, like, you know, rethink the wheel or anything. Well, rethink the wheel. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even try to do that. So when you're ordering bolts, something to keep in mind is there, even though they're the same diameter, there could be a difference. And just something to think about if you're going to do this. And you're going to put yourself in a time crunch, which I'm not. But if you're going to put yourself in a time crunch, you might run into something like this. So I've got the drill all set up, and now I'm going to drill 120 or so holes for your visual enjoyment. So okay, so now that I've drilled 120 holes in what seems to be seconds, we can test and make sure that this slides through, which it does. We didn't take very much material out of here, just enough to let these things slide and then like slide through like they're supposed to. So probably when they originally made these wheels back in the, I think the 80s, they probably just, I don't know, didn't care as much. right, so the wheels are assembled, and I got really, really lucky on one thing. And I want to pass it on to you guys so that you don't make a mistake that you might not be able to come back from. Well, you won't. You can come back from it, but and that is the flange diameter on these bolts is quite a bit different on the new ones. It's over 1 millimeter in diameter bigger. So see if I can get this thing to focus on these bolts here. So you can see the difference in diameter on that flange, and on the face of the wheel there's actually a little lip or a little place that these are supposed to drop into. Well, these are much bigger, and with the diameter difference they just barely cleared the edge of the wheel. So I got lucky, but if you think about it, measure it and ask before you order bolts, because I'm sure that these flanges come in different diameters, and if you want them to sink in the little recesses in the wheel like they originally did, then you'll need to get bolts with about a 13 mil versus a 14 mil diameter. So I think the combination of the gold bolts and the polish actually turned out really, really nice. It's going to have a real nice classy look to it. And it'll go with the rest of the chrome on the car. So the only things I have left to do for these wheels is I'm still waiting on the little center caps. And the center caps are unique to these wheels because they're a waffle pattern, much like the RS's were. But I think the pattern's just a little bit different. So I have two. Technically I have three, but the third one is in shipment somewhere. So I need to paint these. Fortunately, the powder coater set me up with a powder coat that actually matches a paint that I can get locally. So that is a huge positive and makes it very cheap, because I can get this paint in a spray can. It's not an automotive color. It's like actually it's a Duplicolor paint. And then I need to get the digital file for the thread end cap that goes into the center of these and have it 3D printed, because they are horribly, horribly expensive to buy the metal caps that thread into these wheels. I think it's a 72 millimeter center diameter. But the nice thing is, with a 3D printed center cap, I can shave them down and make them a nice flat cap. There's a lot of things I can do, and 3D printing is so inexpensive. I actually have a co-worker that has a 3D printer at home, and he's going to print the center caps for me as soon as I get him the file. So that is how the rest of these wheels are going to go together. You can see here with the center cap installed, that's how they look. And then there's a piece that threads in here that covers up your bolts that attach the center cap to the wheel. So, and actually they line up with the real question I'm sure you're asking is, what do they look like on the car? Well, let's take a look. All right, so I spared you the montage of threading one lug nut into each wheel hole and putting them on the car. You can see here, they look real nice. Offset is real good in the back here. Might have to roll the inside of this fender. The front, I didn't test fit this very well at all, ever. It sticks out quite a bit in the front, actually. So I'm going to have to come up with a solution for this. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. If any of you have any ideas on fixing this problem. So I thought the offset on these wheels was a little bit lower than it actually is. I guess that's what I get for picking up wheels like 3 years ago. So that's what I get for picking up wheels 3 years ago, leaving them in boxes and then starting to refinish them without bolting them on the car. So I'm going to have to come up with a solution to fix the offset on the front. The solution might be to sell the wheels and buy something different. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out yet. but they look really nice. So so they can look really nice and stick outside the fender and annoy me when they rub every time. That's not going to work. So I have more things to think about and figure out, and so after all the work, these might not actually be the wheels that end up on this car, but they're refinished and worth more money now than they were. So that is a positive, and you know, I can look at it as you know, I put a little equity into these wheels, and I'll get the equity back out by doing the hard work for someone else. Sometimes that's how things go, especially when you buy something and don't test fit it. So always test fit it. I've said it before, and it's bit me, and it's biting me again. So that's it for today. I got the wheels done, and we'll see what happens. If you have any suggestions on fixing this offset problem, so the fail boat has sailed right through the shop today, and that's it. I'm going to pack it in for the afternoon and go work on something else. Until next week, when I inevitably don't test fit something, or something doesn't quite fit the way I expected it to. Have a great week, and thanks for watching. Get out there and work on something.